presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Minnesota.
A drive to right center field. Dozier will score, and Bauer delivers the walk-off hit. In the 12th inning last night, Joe Mauer sent everyone home with the Twins picking up a much-needed and dramatic win. And now today, this afternoon, the final game of the series and the season series against the Cleveland Indians. It's an absolutely gorgeous afternoon for baseball. Dick Bramer, Burt Blyleven with you. Very glad that you've decided to spend part of 9/11 here this Sunday afternoon with us on Twins TV. Won't get any easier for the Twins here this afternoon because they're taking on an established veteran pitcher in Corey Kluber and a guy who right now is at the very top of his game.
And I'll tell you what, their pitching staff has been outstanding. Not only the starters, but also the relievers. You look at the Indians where they rank. That's the best earned run average as a ball club in the American League. Second in wins, and the bullpen second in ERA behind the Kansas City Royals. And here this afternoon, Dick, you were talking about Corey Kluber. My goodness, this guy maybe he's going to win his second Cy Young Award. He's off to a slow start, but he has really picked it up over his last 11 starts, 7-1 with a very good ERA, and he's always been tough against the Twins.
It took Kluber a little while to figure things out in the big leagues, and that's kind of the challenge for Jose Barrios, his mound opponent here this afternoon. In his rookie season, he has had a very uneven path so far.
Yeah, Barrios actually made his major league debut against the Indians. This will be his third start. He has 2 wins, one against the Houston Astros, the other against the Cleveland Indians. A quality start. His only quality start came against the Indians last time he faced them. That's what the Twins need.
Twins are hoping Barrios will take another step forward in his development, hoping that the Twins can win the season series against the division leaders. with a price. And each year we are reminded just how big a price. 15 years ago, America changed forever. As a nation mourned, baseball was there to help bring us back together. Today, we again reflect on what it means to be an American as we celebrate our freedom with America's game. Years ago today, the Twins were in Detroit to take on the Tigers, and the tragic events that befell this country on that terrible morning still felt 15 years later.
Unbelievable. I mean, I know my wife Gail and my wife Gail was going to fly back to Fort Myers, Florida. She was in with Detroit with me, and then we turned TV on and saw what was going on. It was devastating.
I mentioned it the other day, the memories that I have are so vivid it doesn't seem like it was 15 years ago. And Paul Molitor was a coach on the Twins team and reflected this morning on the long bus ride from Detroit and his other thoughts about what happened 15 years ago.
It's just one of those harsh realities of things that are out there that loom way larger than any sport or activity that we're able to enjoy here, and we should be thankful for our freedoms. But you know, baseball was a part of that recovery in a very, very small way. I think when President Bush took the mound in New York following our return to the field, it was just kind of one of those poignant moments where you know, baseball is good, life is good, and despite having to deal with such horrific circumstances, we found a way to move forward.
In observance of today, the flags will be flown at half-staff by order of the governor. We pay tribute to them and to the men and women who serve our country as we honor a pledge made 15 years ago today. We shall not forget. Please join us as we observe a moment of silence. Thank you. As part of Law Enforcement Day, presenting the colors on the field is the St. Paul Police Department Honor Guard. In honor of all military service members, past, present, and future in Twins territory, the Twins are proud to invite a service member or veteran to raise the stars and stripes during the national anthem at every Twins home game. Today's honorary flag raiser is Russell Hamill from Eyota, Minnesota. Russell served 4 years in the United States Marine Corps, including 13 months in Vietnam. His medals and achievements include the National Defense Service Medal, Vietnam Service Medal with 1 star, and Vietnam Campaign Medal with device. He's an active member of Eyota American Legion, Post 551. We say thank you, Sergeant Hamill, for your service to our country. Singing the national anthem today is the Prior Lake High School Choir under the direction of Rob Hahn.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
The Twins and Indians will play the final game of the season series, a series that is tied right now. The Twins have struggled obviously against just about everybody else in the league, but they have held their own against the Cleveland Indians.
Yeah, 18 games played so far. Of course, 19 games are played in every team with our division, so this was the final game, but the Twins got a chance to win the season series here this afternoon.
Saw James Beresford in the starting lineup at the other side of the infield today. Back-to-back starts for the Australian longtime minor league veteran. Beresford got a big hit, made a big defensive play in what turned out to be a well-pitched ball game last night. Terry Francona, as he watched the crowd reaction to Beresford's first major league hit, the standing ovation, Francona confessed that he got a little choked up. As a player who knows what it's like to spend a lot of time in the minor leagues, that was an emotional moment for everybody here last night, including the opposing manager. And his Menards batting order for the series and homestand finale: Carlos Santana leading off, then Jose Ramirez, Francisco Lindor, Mike Napoli, Lonnie Chisenhall, Abraham Almonte, Tyler Naquin, Roberto Perez, and Michael Martinez.
And it'll be 22-year-old Jose Barrios on the mound here this afternoon, making his 11th major league start, his 3rd major league start against the Cleveland Indians. One of his 2 wins coming against the Indians. Attack the strike zone. That's the key for Barrios. I thought he did a good job of that against his last start against the Royals, but he kind of made a mistake to Morales that hit the 3-run home run in the 5th inning.
Northland 4 defense for the Twins. Logan Schaefer gets left field. Byron Buxton in center. Max Kempler in right. Escobar, Polanco, Dozier, Beresford, the infielders. Juan Centeno behind the plate. When both Duffy and Barrios were sent down to Rochester in August, it was a big setback for where the Twins wanted to be in this year, where we've seen development from a lot of the position players. But what the Twins really need, obviously, is improved pitching for next year. So what they're looking for from Duffy and here from Barrios today, just improvement. Paul Molitor called it incremental improvement. You're not expecting big leaps and bounds forward, but make sure, if you can, that each start is a little bit better than the one prior. Santana, Ramirez, and Lindor to get things started. And the first pitch over the inside corner.
He has a good fastball, major league fastball, 93 to 95. Hard breaking ball, very good changeup. He has 3 pitches that can get major league hitters out. He needs to do this, work ahead in the count.
2 good fastballs to get ahead of Santana. And with 2 strikes, the pull shift in the infield. And away with the changeup.
He's done everything in AAA that needs to be done to pitch up here. Another changeup right there, missing low.
2-2 to Santana.
17 starts in Rochester, 10-5, ERA 2.51, 111 1/3 innings pitched down there.
The fastball in off the plate.
125 strikeouts.
He's had some games where walks have been an issue. A couple of 5-walk games, a couple of 4-walk games. Got ahead of Santana 0-2, and now the count's full. And he missed 4 straight. 2 changeups, and 2 fastballs.
Yeah, last thing you want to do is start nitpicking early on. Your first 2 pitches, 94, 95 mile an hour fastball, strike 1, strike 2, then a couple changeups, and here you go. And it's a walk. His 25th walk in 42 innings pitched.
Jose Ramirez will bat. Fastball inside, missing. We've seen 94, 95, 96, and 97 already with the fastball, but unless it's in the strike zone, it doesn't matter. 1-0. Now here comes Centeno to the mound.
Eduardo Escobar also attending this meeting. Now, of course, you're nervous out there. I was nervous when I first came up, but the main thing, you have to attack the strike zone early. Take a deep breath. You know, 42 innings, that's not a lot of innings yet at this level. He's had his disappointments. His only quality start came against the Indians back on August 1st.
And there's a strike. Backing off to 92, but on the outside corner. Rounded foul.
We talked about Ramirez. I have the last couple of nights. This guy goes under the radar. This young man is a very, very good player. Switch hitting third baseman now. He started the season as an outfielder.
And up the line, foul again. Still 2-2. Barrios got ahead of Santana and lost him to a walk. Then he fell behind Ramirez and will try to come back and have the opposite outcome. Another 2-2. And an off-speed pitch inside, hooked foul.
You know, we had Frank Viola on yesterday. He was talking about the four-seam fastball. You have to control that four-seam fastball first, and then you also work in the two-seam, the sinking fastball, something that right-handers will throw to left-handers to try to get ground balls, maybe a double play.
Breaking ball. Beresford fires to short. Return throw not in time. Beresford getting the start at first base. He was used at 3 positions at Rochester this year. Primarily was a second baseman, but this year more of a utility role, second base, third base, and he told me about 25 games at first base this year.
You know what? I mean, all those years in the minor leagues, basically, you know, he could play anywhere. I mentioned that last night, but now this afternoon, his second major league start is at first base. Jumps off that mound, of course, infield, good hands, and a little low throw, but Ramirez pretty quick out of that batter's box.
And now Francisco Lindor with a runner at first and one down. Missing the outside corner. Barrios has given up 4 stolen bases in 5 tries, and you can see from the stretch it's a rather deliberate delivery.
And Ramirez at first base as Barrios throws over 20 stolen bases in 27 attempts.
Fouled away, keeping in mind that the young man on the mound is only 22 years old. I'm sure the Twins don't want to overload him with minutia, little details like quickening up his delivery to home plate. He's got enough on his plate right now throwing it over the plate. But I'm sure it's something that he will work on as his major league career develops.
But something also you work on in the minor leagues. He's pitched 551 innings in the minor leagues.
It just seems like it takes a long time for him to break from the stretch before he releases the ball.
Well, he's got that long arm. He'll drop that arm behind his back end and then release home.
2-1. Back to the mound. Rifles his throw to second base. He threw 97 on the last pitch he threw to Santana. That was at least 97.
You know, with your back to where the runner is, it's up to the catcher. And Centeno, I'm sure, screaming 2-2-2. And a good hard fastball over to Polanco for the force out.
So 2 down, runner still at first, and now Mike Napoli. Indians scored in the first inning last night, then went 11 innings without a run, and now Barrios trying to extend their scoreless string here with a scoreless first, and that ball thrown toward first, and Lindor goes to second. I don't know if that ball hit him or not. He didn't sprint to second base. given where that ball ended up, he had a chance, I thought, for third base. A pickoff throw that may have hit the runner.
Take a look right here. Where does it hit Lindor? Right in the back of the right knee area.
Error charged to Berríos, and now a runner in scoring position.
I know it's early. You have first base open. Be very careful to this guy. 32 home runs for Napoli.
94 on the outside corner.
And a good low fastball.
Two-seamer down and in. 1-1. The 20th pitch of the inning for Berríos.
Yeah, Napoli with the 32 home runs. That's a career high for him in his first season with the Indians.
Breaking ball. Centeno blocks it. 2-1.
Good changeup right there.
You know, we talked with Frank Viola last night. One of his challenges as a AAA pitching coach, trying to get pitchers to subtract. And we've seen Berríos do that here. A fastball and then a two-seamer, a breaking ball, then the changeup. 2-2. And the fastball just off the plate. 96. And with a base open, Chisenhall's on deck.
Now, this situation myself, I would probably want to throw my curveball right here, or for Berríos, maybe an off-speed pitch, changeup.
And he threw him the changeup. 2 walks in the inning, an error on Berríos, and Chisenhall will come up with 2 men aboard.
And with the walks, pitch count goes up. 23 pitches already here in the first inning. Trying to be a little too fine. One thing I learned early in my career, trust your stuff. Go right at them. You find out early what kind of stuff you have.
Breaking ball wide of the plate.
And then make the adjustment. Right now, I don't think he has been able to get a breaking ball over, but maybe one of the 5 or 6. So the Indians are going to sit dead red now, meaning fastball.
2-0. And because of the deep counts, the long counts, pitching from behind, 9 home runs on the season in 42 2/3 innings. So he's got a hitter's count now. Chisenhall at the plate, hitting just under 300 on the year, has a chance to do some damage. And then down the middle for a strike. Popped up, and Dozier on the edge of the outfield grass puts it away. Berríos with some control issues, no damage done, and a scoreless top of the first. flowing in from the Plaza. The flags at half staff because of the 15th anniversary of the 9/11 terrorist attacks. Paul Molitor hoping that the Twins can go 10-9 against the best team in the American League Central. Here's his Menards batting order. Brian Dozier will lead things off. Then Logan Schaefer, Jorge Polanco, Kenny Vargas, Max Kepler, Eduardo Escobar, James Beresford, Juan Centeno, and Byron Buxton.
And they're going to have to win against the ace of the Cleveland Indians here this afternoon, Corey Kluber, making his 29th start, his 3rd start against the Twins. Twins beat him once, and he beat the Twins once.
Around the hands of Brian Dozier. Dozier just 5 for 37 against Kluber. Kluber is 30 years old. It didn't really come together for him till he was 28 years old. He won the Cy Young Award 2 years ago when he won 18 ball games and had an ERA of less than 2.5. Languished in the minor leagues. Up with the Indians, sent back down. Up with the Indians, sent back down. 3 years he went back and forth. Half swing and a strike, 1-2.
Yeah, originally signed by the San Diego Padres back in 2007, made his major league debut with the Indians in 2011.
1-2 to Brian Dozier. Just outside, close pitch.
One thing Kluber has done, he's got a very steady delivery, very quick arm as far as releasing that ball out of his hands toward home plate. Not a lot of movement in his delivery, but that ball just explodes out of his hand and he picks up a strikeout. His 199th of the season.
One down, that'll bring up Logan Schaefer. Let's take a look at the Indians out in the field. Abraham Almonte in left, Tyler Naquin in center, Lonnie Chisenhall in right. Jose Ramirez, Francisco Lindor, get used to seeing them on the left side of the Cleveland infield. They're going to be there for a while. Martinez in for Kipnis, Napoli at first, and Roberto Perez behind the plate. One down, and here is Schaefer. And a ball flipped into right field, and it'll drop for a base hit. Schaefer's hit line drives harder than that, but he found some landing spot out there in right center field for a 1-out single.
Well, Kluber's a guy that you want to swing early against because you don't get into that strikeout position. He's averaged about 2 walks per 9 innings. No fooling around with Kluber. He's going to give you a ball over the plate.
Here is Polanco, who was left in the on-deck circle last night, and the Indians chose to half-heartedly but pitch to Joe Mauer, and Mauer burned them with the game-winning single. If you were watching last night or saw the game-winning hit, you saw Mauer hit a breaking pitch into right center field. The decision the Indians made was they were not intending to throw Mauer a strike. The breaking ball was supposed to be in the dirt, and the pitcher hung it, and Joe jumped on it, and the game was over.
Yeah, Jimenez said, you know, we wanted that ball down and in, and it stayed up a little bit, and Joe got the game-winning hit.
Up high, 2-0.
2 fastballs, middle and in on to Kluber. Joe getting the afternoon off right now.
Swing and a foul.
Slider right there. Kluber has 4 very good pitches. Fastball, good slider. That last pitch, he'll mix in a curveball and a changeup. Won the Cy Young Award a couple years ago. Made his first All-Star team this year. Pitched 1 inning.
That seems odd that it was his first All-Star team. That's to the left field corner. Almonte chasing it down, making the catch, and Schaefer retreats. Pretty well hit ball by Polanco, 2 away.
Well, you know, he kind of came out of nowhere, you know, a couple years ago when he won the Cy Young Award, and then last year was kind of a so-so year. Things just didn't go his way. He was 9-16 last year in 32 starts. Not a bad ERA, 3.5, but
a run, more than a run higher than his ERA the year before. But I don't think there's any team in baseball that wouldn't take a starter with an ERA of 3.5.
Right.
Here is Vargas, the designated hitter. Up and in, ball one. Vargas against Kluber, 4 for 14 and a home run. He had a game last year against Kluber. 2 years ago, I should say. Hit a home run and a double in the same game. Down and in, 2-0.
Yeah, what Kluber has given the Indians is what you want out of your ace. Quality starts. This is out of his first 28 starts, 20 have been quality starts. 6 innings, 3 earned runs or less. And over his last 11 starts, an ERA of about 2.3, and he's 7-1.
3-0, Kepler on deck.
And that one loss came in his last outing in Cleveland against the Houston Astros, where he gave up 4 runs in 7 innings and lost 4-3.
Vargas hasn't played for a while. Wouldn't think he'd get the green light here. And he takes ball 4. So Kluber gives up a hit, a line out, and a walk in succession. And now Kepler will bat with 2 men aboard. Kepler 1 for 2 against Kluber with a home run. Down in the dirt, dug out by Perez. That's a nice pickup right there. Biting, breaking ball in the dirt. Perez kept the runners at first and second and will hand deliver the next baseball.
Yeah, the home run for Kepler came on August 31st, the last time the Twins saw Kluber in that series in Cleveland. Came in the 3rd inning. He has hit a solo home run. Twins lost that ball game 8-4.
Grounded sharply. Nice stop by Napoli. Can't find the ball. Got him at first. Kepler retired by a half step. Napoli knocked down the hot ground ball. Eventually found the handle and threw him out.
Cleveland Indians here at Target Field. And Berríos is very well aware of his struggles in his previous big league starts. He's also very frustrated by those starts. I talked to him a couple days ago, and he said he really wants to show people that he is the same pitcher in the minor leagues as in the big leagues, that he can be that guy. He said he wants to show people that he can pitch up here. Paul Molitor said today, if you look at the kind of person that Berríos is, just his general makeup, his work ethic, his raw talent, Molitor said there is legitimate reason to stay optimistic that Berríos can get where he is bound to go. So Dick and Bert, we're saying keep the faith. It's early. This young guy has some great potential.
Well, thank you, Marty. You kind of get the sense, at least by the manager's description, that Berríos is the pitching version of Byron Buxton, who also struggled early in his big league career. And, you know, the struggles aren't over with by any means. But when you see signs of improvement as the Twins have from Buxton, it gives you that reason for optimism.
Yeah, hopefully the people he's talking about is his pitching coach and the manager and the players, not the general public, because if you start trying to impress everybody, it's hard. You cannot do it. You have to impress yourself first.
And a strike. He walked
you know what I'm talking about right there?
Oh, yeah.
You know, don't put that added pressure that you have to impress everybody. Just go about your business, trust your stuff, and go about the business of throwing strikes.
Over the mound and picked up by Polanco, and no chance to get Almonte, who runs down the line.
You know, Dick, you go back in Twins history, and I'm going to go current. Now, we had Frank Viola on the other day. You know, his first year, 1982, 4-10, 5.21 ERA. Brad Radke, his first season in a Twins uniform at the major league level, 95, 5.32 ERA. And Johan Santana, now, you know, he started kind of in the bullpen, had some spot starts, but look at the earned run average, 6.49. So what he's doing is just getting his feet wet, and you hope that, you know, he has some success so he can take that home to Puerto Rico over the winter, know what he needs to work on to get ready for spring training of next year.
1-0 to Naquin. Remarked last night during one of Buxton's at bats that he just looks so much more relaxed, and you know, well, this is from an outsider like me, right?
Yeah.
Can't the same thing apply to a pitcher?
Oh, for sure.
You need to relax out there.
It's hard because, you know, I mean, when you're an everyday player, you're out there every day. When you're a pitcher, you're out there once every 5 or 6 days in today's game, and you know, you put so much pressure on you yourself, and it's hard.
We saw Hector Santiago last night struggle in the first couple of innings and looked like he wasn't going to be around long, and yet he found something. We'll talk about that shortly. But now Berríos in kind of the same spot with a low strike percentage. Outside 35 pitches and only 15 strikes.
Again, what we're seeing is lack of control of the fastball. Exactly what Frank Viola said, exactly what I have said. But until he trusts his fastball, that he can keep the ball down in the zone, and hopefully good things happen.
A 4-pitch walk and more trouble for Berríos early in the second inning.
His third walk of the ball game already.
And here comes Neil Allen. Talked about Hector Santiago last night. I asked him this morning, I said, what in the world was the difference? Because he struggled through 2 innings, and then it's like somebody hit a switch in the third. And he told me that he was really frustrated with how he was throwing, didn't feel like he had command of anything. And the Twins had 6 batters come to the plate in the bottom of the second inning, and that gave Santiago some time to go up into the clubhouse and do his normal pregame workout, which consists of bench pressing dumbbells and doing 100 push-ups. And he said when he did that, it kind of tightened up his chest and it kept him from flying open. He said he came out in the third inning, threw his first pitch. He just felt his mechanics were much better because his upper body was tighter, having worked out. And then from there, he was a completely different pitcher.
Yeah, everybody has a routine, and to take that away is not right. But you know what, Santiago, he's his own man. Every pitcher, you're your own man.
Centeno looks at third, throws to first, 1 away.
Good bunt right there by Perez, doing his job and advancing both runners.
Indians have a pitcher, Trevor Bauer. To the extent the Indians have gotten success from Bauer that you know, no one else could, it's because the Indians have let him kind of do his own thing. Whatever works for him, let him do that, and try to get him to be an effective pitcher with his routine. Corner infielders up, one down, and here's Michael Martinez. Missing low.
Yeah, Jason Kipnis getting the afternoon off right now. Martinez coming over from the Boston Red Sox. Claimed off waivers from Boston by the Indians on August 4th. His second stint with the Indians. He's with them last year. Not much power, more of a line drive type hitter. A switch hitting second baseman, infielder.
One and one.
What Barrios needs right here, needs a strikeout. Has yet to get one.
Bunted in the air. Out number 2, and Barrios takes a quick look at second and third. Back-to-back bunts, one for a sacrifice, the other intended for a hit.
Yeah, kind of a safety squeeze right there. The runner at third, Almonte, was not charging in. So trying to lay that ball down that first baseline, instead pops it up to the pitcher. So a big out for Barrios.
And now Carlos Santana, who drew the opening walk in the first inning. Barrios got ahead of him 0-2 and then lost him on 4 straight balls. Fastball, and strike one. .42 pitch coming up, and at least 30 of them have been from the stretch position. Check swing. 1-1.
Yeah, Santana, very good eye at the plate. 87 walks he has taken this year. That's third most in the American League. Mike Trout, Donaldson right ahead of him.
Not close. Cut the right-handed batter's box in half. 2-1.
Yeah, he almost started running after that ball after he released it.
Probably did that a few times, right? He felt like I'd like to have that back, please. 2-1. Deep to right, and the Indians jump out in front on a long home run from Santana. 3-0 Cleveland.
Well, another 3-run home run that Barrios has allowed. It's the third straight outing he's given up a 3-run home run. And home run number 31 for Carlos Santana. Every home run he's hit or going to hit is a career high. That one hurt. Fastball down.
Yeah.
And Santana counting his favor, looking fastball, and he got it. Yeah, Santana gave up a 3-run home run to McCann with Detroit. And there's a final out 1 pitch later.
1 pitch too late. Jose Barrios go up in the clubhouse and start doing push-ups. Sports North is presented by USAA Insurance, banking and investments tailored for the military community. 3-0 Cleveland. Twins had a threat in the first inning, couldn't get the big hit. Indians got a big one, obviously, in the top of the second. Eduardo Escobar will lead off the bottom of the inning against Corey Kluber. Down and away, ball one. Kluber did not have a particularly good first inning himself. He's thrown 17 pitches and only 7 strikes. Fouled away, 1-1.
Well, pitchers like Kluber, you want to get them early, because once they find out what's working, what's not, kind of what Hector Santiago did last night, you know, they make the adjustment. You don't win a Cy Young, you don't get to where he's at, the ace of the ball club, by not adjusting.
Popped up another foul ball into the seats, 1-2. Twins hit the road after the game today. They'll play 4 in Detroit, then 3 in New York against the Mets. And then they return home for the final homestand of the year, a week at home. Then the final week will be spent on the road in Chicago and Kansas City. Half swing, did he go? No, says third base umpire Vic Carapazza. Two and 2 to Escobar. And a breaking ball on the outside corner.
Kluber picks up his second strikeout. Strikeout number 200 for Kluber. Third straight season he's had 200 strikeouts or more. Last year 245 in his Cy Young Award year. He struck out 269 batters.
That's the epitome of pitching to the corners. I just had the corner. Here is James Beresford. Beresford said obviously it was touching last night. He gets his first major league hit. He gets a standing ovation from the crowd here.
Yeah, a couple firsts last night. Beresford getting his first major league hit as he fouls that off. Also TJ Chagua picking up the win, his first major league win.
And a much needed win for the Twins at that. 2 strikes to Beresford. And took a home run swing.
Well, 10 seasons into minor leagues, almost 4,000 at bats, a lot of hits, very good batting average, a lot of games played, but his dream has come true. That's getting to the big leagues.
0-2 to Beresford. Showed you almost 4,000 at bats and only 4 minor league home runs. Paul Molitor described him as when he first saw him as a really skinny kid who has filled out some, as we all have over the last 10 years.
Well, speak for yourself.
1-2. One and 2 from Kluber. Asked James this morning. Everybody seems to call him Jimmy, and eventually maybe I will, but asked James this morning about his family and how long are they going to be around, and they're going to be on the road trip to Detroit and New York.
Yeah, they're going to fly home. I talked to the family. They were up here in the booth looking around and taking a little tour the other day, just yesterday. And they said they're going to be flying home from New York after we play the Mets.
And another breaking ball on the outside corner, 2 down.
Beresford knew it, and strikeout number 3 for Kluber. Back-to-back called third strikes.
And now Centeno, 2 home runs on the year, one of them against Kluber back in May in Cleveland. One and 0 to Centeno. Up the line, it stays fair. Napoli, Field steps on the bag, and Kluber has a much better second inning. Santana and a quick start for the Indians. MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, delivers everything you've come to expect and more. You can watch every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices. It includes a free subscription to At-Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. Lindor will lead things off in the third. And another first pitch ball from Berrios. Breaking ball over.
Good breaking ball right there.
It's to be frustrating for Berrios because he pitched himself into a jam in the second inning, but then almost got out of it. Missed inside 2-1.
Yeah, Dick, I did a little homework on Berrios. 5 minor league seasons. He started 92 ball games. About 552 innings pitched in the minor leagues. Change up right there, fouled off. And I looked at his numbers. Good walk to innings pitched, averaging 2.5 walks, 9.6 strikeouts in the minor leagues per 9 innings. I wrote down this: should be here, deserves to be here because of the minor league numbers.
Liner to right, the base hit.
I said now he needs to learn to stay here. And how do you do that? By innings pitched. Saw him look at the infielders right there. Who's covering in case the ball is hit back to me?
And the leadoff man on again. Berrios has thrown a lot of pitches, 50 of them, and about 40 of them have been from the stretch. Everybody's different. When you mention one pitcher's name and then relate it to another, at least I'm not trying to draw comparisons, but when Corey Kluber was Berrios' age, he was just getting out of high A ball into double A. His numbers in 2009, 9-13 at that level, low levels of the minor leagues, with an ERA of over 4.5. And Kluber is one of the prime examples of a pitcher who took a while to develop and got there just on the good side of his 30th birthday, and now is as good as anybody in the game.
But I think if you look at the year he had, his walk to innings pitched total was very high, and somewhere along the line, you know, his walks now in the big leagues averaging about 2.1 walks per 9 innings, but in the minor leagues they were very, very high, over 4. He walked 310 batters in the minor leagues in 777 innings. So something clicked.
But it's a process. As much as you'd like to accelerate it, you can't. Dylan Betances, the great reliever for the Yankees, was the same way in the minor leagues. The thing that held him back, he couldn't throw enough strikes. And then 2 years ago, it just kind of came together for him. He was able to establish control of the fastball, and then of course has the wipeout slider to go with it now. And there's a walk and another first and second nobody out situation.
And that fastball right there, not even close to hit that corner down and away. So the fourth walk for Berríos in the ballgame.
And Chisenhall will bat.
Already somebody up in the bullpen. Looks like Pat Dean starting to loosen up.
And it is Pat Dean just starting to get loose. Chisenhall, the batter. Low, ball one.
Even that pitch right there, it almost looks like he's trying to aim that breaking ball by his delivery rather than letting it go.
This time it's the shortstop Polanco and Centeno to the mound.
And for the third straight inning, Centeno has gone out to try to calm him down, get his mindset back on throwing strikes.
This is an extreme example, but you're always talking about if the target is inside on the inside corner, if you're going to miss inside. I'd almost rather see him throw it down the middle here than watch so many walks.
Well, you know what? There's two corners to the plate, down and away and down to a right-hander, down and away to a left-hander. That's what he needs to do right here. Trust his stuff down and away.
Well, he tried to hit the spot but missed.
And he threw a changeup right there.
2-0.
You have to trust your fastball down and away right here. You know, tip your hat to Chisenhall if he hits it, but you have to throw a strike here.
Could be two. One. And the relay not in time. And tumbling at first was Chisenhall, and the Indians will hope he's okay. Very similar to the play that separated Yan Gomes' shoulder.
Well, I think he kind of tripped as he hit the bag right there. The hustle of Chisenhall did stay out of the double play. Kind of a lob type throw over to Dozier, and Dozier kind of looked like a lob type throw over to first, allowed Chisenhall.
One down, double play still in order. Almonte, the batter. Almonte with an infield hit to start the second inning, and then a little while later Santana hit his 3-run bomb.
But even there, Dick, you saw the fastball. He threw the fastball. It was up, and Chisenhall hit a ground ball.
Breaking ball and a swing. Almonte, a check swing, 0-1.
You know, hitters get a hit. If they can get a hit 3 out of 10 times, they're going to be all-stars. They're great hitters. Sometimes we as pitchers give hitters too much credit. Hitters get themselves out.
And might have picked him off if Beresford had held on to the ball. Second errant pickoff throw. A run will score. Looked like they had him picked off, and I don't know whether the pickoff throw was off target again or whether Beresford simply didn't catch it. You know what went through his glove? He's getting a new glove. I wonder whether that throw didn't go all the way through his mitt.
Right through the webbing, yep.
That's exactly what happened. How about that?
Ball was in and
they had him picked off, and the ball went through the webbing.
Well, an error will still be charged on Berríos, his second. That's a shame.
They give the error to Berríos?
Yep. Boy, you can't give it to the glove.
We can give it to the guy wearing it. He had him picked off. Why is that an error on the pitcher?
Well, that's the official score. Ruled it E1.
Wow. One strike to Almonte, and now pitch in the dirt. It's 4-0 Cleveland. So it's Berríos' fault that the laces broke on the glove.
I guess so. You know, we're here just here. We don't keep score.
I do.
I mean, we keep score, but not the official score.
Oh, in the name of Abner Doubleday, can you give the pitcher the error?
Or can you give it 1G for the glove?
You got to give it to somebody. It's got to be Beresford. He's the one that took a a faulty mid out to first base. One and two to Almonte. I've seen that happen before, and I think I was probably working with you. You remember a first baseman by the name of Scott Stahoviak?
Oh, yes.
And that happened to him at first base, I believe, on a double play, a relay from second base. It went right through the webbing of his glove, and it made me think at the time, and here too, you know, fielders ought to get their gloves re-laced, almost like you'd rotate tires on a car every month or so.
Well, I've been, around a long time, and that's part of your trade right there. I mean, to take care of your glove. And baseball players are very, very fickle about the kind of glove they use, taking care of it.
3-2. Popped up, fouling out of play. I found out the first year I worked that, and forgive me, I was a rookie broadcaster. Players don't like it when you put your hand in their glove.
Oh, no.
And I haven't done it since.
Yep.
Full count to Almonte. Got him with a fastball over the inside corner. 2 down.
First strikeout for Barrios.
And Paul Molitor has seen enough. Certainly not a step forward for Barrios. Control issues. 65 pitches, only 30 strikes. And for the life of me, I don't understand it. In addition to everything else, he's been charged with 2 errors today. It's 4-0 Cleveland, and the Twins trying to stay in the game. They didn't see much of it today. Control issues again besetting the young right-hander. 4 runs on the board. All those pitches from the stretch position because men were on base throughout. Pat Dean comes in, part-time starter, part-time reliever. And he'll come in with a run in, a runner on, and 2 out in the 3rd.
Yeah, Pat Dean making his 16th appearance. This is his 8th relief appearance. He made 8 starts. Actually, his last start came in Cleveland back on the 31st, where he went 4 1/3 innings, gave up 6 runs.
Tyler Naquin, the batter. Naquin doesn't see much action when there's a left-hander on the mound, but Terry Francona will leave him in here. Runner at second, 2 down. The Indians already up 4-0. Strike 1.
And did you already talk about the change of the air?
No, no. I don't know if I'm going to get a good night's sleep tonight, but I'll get a better night's sleep because they changed the air from Barrios to Beresford. I will sleep a little bit better tonight with the scoring change. One and one to Naquin.
Pat Dean's last appearance came here on Monday against the Kansas City Royals. 1 inning, he gave up a 3-run home run to Eric Hosmer. The Twins' 11-5 loss. He's given up 12 home runs.
1 and 2 to Naquin.
Dean, a lot of like Barrios, very good minor league numbers. Last year in Rochester, won 12 ball games, had an ERA under 3.
Breaking ball, flip foul.
Couple stints with the Twins this year, started in Rochester this year. Pat Dean did.
Rotation, it seemed like for most of the season, had either Pat Dean or Tommy Milone in it. Now they're both pitching out of the bullpen. Milone just coming off the disabled list yesterday. 1 and 2 to Naquin. 27 at bats against left-handed pitching. He's hitting .222. And fouled away. The runner at second is Lonnie Chisenhall. He reached on a fielder's choice. Dean with a long look in, and now a 1-2 to Naquin. Ooh,
Watch out.
oh, Perez just about got kneecapped by that line drive. Our camera people are okay. The tripod, actually, it's, you'd have to call that a unipod, I guess, right? It's just one stick. You can't call it a tripod. Took that foul ball. Terry Francona nice enough to check and make sure that
He's all right.
everybody's okay. 1 and 2, and off the plate 2 and 2. One of the top rookies in the game. Michael Fulmer of the Tigers, it looks like, will be the American League Rookie of the Year winner. On the left field line, Schaefer with a long run, and that ball drifts into the seats. The way it looks right now, the Twins will play a 4-game series in Detroit after this series, and they will face neither Justin Verlander, who pitches today and is pitching today, or Fulmer, who they're going to push back a day. And so Twins will play 4 games in Detroit, and they won't face Detroit's top 2 pitchers. 2 and 2 from Dean to Naquin, and another one slapped to the corner, and Schaefer again has no play. It's been a long start to this ball game. Rios has struggled in all 3 of his innings, and now he's out of the ball game, and Dean's already thrown 9 pitches and then 2 in Naquin. Dean fills the count. 11th pitch coming up. Fouls it to the screen.
Well, for a guy that doesn't get a lot of at-bats against lefties, having a very good at-bat here.
I know why. They all last about 8 minutes. We're trying to speed up the game, right? 4-0 Cleveland, and another runner in scoring position. That's Lonnie Chisenhall. And a sharp grounder up the middle. Great at bat by Naquin. He'll drive in another run, and it's 5-0.
Yeah, 12 pitch at bat. Naquin finally gets a pitch and lines it, like you mentioned, picking up an RBI, his 42nd.
And all 5 runs charged to Berríos.
Fastball away. Naquin right back up the middle. And Chisenhall scoring from second base.
Roberto Perez, the catcher, laid down a sacrifice bunt his first time up. Popped up near the Twins dugout and out of play. We had what, 17 pitchers in the ball game last night, with the Twin starter Santiago going 7 innings. Twins will go through a lot of pitchers, it looks like, here again this afternoon. Dean gets the first hop, flips to first. That ends the 3rd inning for Cleveland. They add 2 more and already get into the Twins bullpen.
A 5-0 lead. A little breakdown between Kluber and Berríos. Now, Berríos, one thing that pitching coach Neil Allen has been trying to work with Berríos as we kind of slow down maybe both their deliveries. Berríos, of course, on your left. Watch his right arm as he takes the ball out of the glove. That right arm really swings behind him. You can see sometimes if your body's too quick, your arm can't catch up, and you see that ball that went outside. And then you see more like Kluber, that arm almost drops down toward his right knee rather than behind him, and that creates a little quicker arm, and you can have better control that way too. And that's one thing I think that Berríos will have to work on, just to try to speed up his arm a little bit. And then also, if you almost become a short armor, it has better control. You're talking, Kluber right here, excellent control.
Well, I'm guessing, I don't know. Corey Kluber probably had to modify his mechanics as he developed through the minor league system. Now, I'm sorry if this is a stupid question. when Barrios,
there's no stupid question.
there are a lot of stupid answers I found out.
We'll find out here in a minute.
1-2 to Buxton.
He almost does the Rick Sutcliffe, Don Sutton, Dodger way of teaching for a while.
But that's okay. It worked for them.
Yes, it did.
Okay. But now, is there any component of this having your arm back where a hitter can see the baseball?
No.
Behind, so that's irrelevant. Right. It's just the position of the arm.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And the only way to correct that is he has to find a way to stay over the pitching rubber a little bit longer. And I'm talking just a second, if that, just to allow his arm to catch up.
Buxton on a breaking ball strikes out. One down on the third.
Strikeout number 4, first time through the lineup for Corey Kluber. You know what I mean? If your body's flying out there, your chest is flying out there. Watch Kluber right here. Watch, he brings that arm down. Now, here comes the quickness of that arm on a great breaking ball, great location.
One down. Here's Dozier. He went down swinging to start the first inning for the Twins.
I would have to say you kind of do it like a hitter. I mean, if they fly their lower part of their body open, I mean quickly, sometimes you get tied up with your arms, but they have to work in unison.
One and one. Tapped up the line. Stays in the grass. Should be a base hit. And Dozier with a 60-foot single against Kluber, a guy he's really struggled against. He'll take it. Logan Schaefer will bat. But first, nobody sees sports quite the way Colin Cowherd and Jason Whitlock do. The brains to know and the guts to say. Catch Colin and Jason as they team up for FS1's daily sports talk show. Speak for yourself. Weekdays at its new time of 4 p.m. Central. Speaking of Colin Cowherd, I was showing you a feature story that was done a long time ago, 25 years ago, on Brandon Kintzler, the Twins closer. Brandon growing up in Las Vegas, and the reporter doing the feature was Colin Cowherd. And that's incidental, but it was an interesting story about, at age 4, Brandon Kintzler jumping kids his age with his bike. He had them laid out on the ground, and he went over a lift and cleared, what, 15 kids?
Yeah, and remember in Vegas it was Evel Knievel. Everybody was talking about Evel Knievel, what he was able to do on on the motorcycles and stuff. But this is a regular bicycle that he went up the ramp and actually jumped, I'm going to guess, 8 to 10 kids.
Yeah, at least that many.
And landed safely. He did it.
Anyway, it's out there on the internet, YouTube. Somebody's got it. Brandon Kintzler bike jumping when he was 4 years old. 1-1 to Schaefer. Ouch, that hit him. Well, this is not the Kluber that we've grown accustomed to seeing. His strike percentage down from what it normally is. 42 pitches, 25 strikes, a walk, and now a hit batter.
Yeah, the 4th hit batsman by Kluber this year. Tried to go inside and went too far in. Schaefer at first base. He'll be hurting a little bit. Dozier moves to second.
Polanco hit a liner to the left field corner, caught by Almonte his first time up. We've talked about it from time to time regarding Polanco. Here he is standing in the box against one of the best right-handed pitchers in the American League, and Polanco's whole method seems to be see ball, hit ball. Doesn't make any difference who's throwing it. Eventually they've got to throw it over the plate, and I want to be ready to put a good swing on it. Polanco hit the ball hard his first time up, making it out, but he's 2 for 4 against Kluber. I don't think it matters who's throwing the baseball. Polanco figures he can hit it.
See, and you're absolutely right. It looks very relaxed at the plate.
Watches strike 1.
In his first at bat, the first 2 pitches were up and in on Polanco by Kluber. So the book right now try to get in the kitchen a little bit.
One strike to Polanco. And he waits and taps a pitch foul.
Hey, with a breaking ball in there. So both first two pitches are inside.
High fly to right field. Chisenhall back, still on the grass. Catch is made. Dozier will advance. First and third, 2 down, and that'll bring up Vargas. Twins in position here to jump back in the game if they can get a big hit. Vargas drew a walk his first time up.
You know, they were really busting Polanco in, and he stayed in there again and made Polanco make the adjustment. Polanco opened up quickly.
He just missed dropping one into the basket there.
Take a look again, going inside. And that ball had a little bit of the plate, but Polanco got underneath it.
Vargas with 2 on and 2 out.
Twins need a 3-run home run right here. Vargas has 6 home runs.
Outside, ball 1. One of the things that is part of Kluber's game is stoicism. I mean, he very rarely displays any emotion out there at all. Robotic. Pulled foul, 1-1. Can't tell whether he's leading by 5 runs or trailing by 5 runs. Best money is he's leading by 5 runs because he doesn't give up 5 runs very often.
Let's see if Vargas hits a 3-run home run. Let's see his actions then.
I'll bet you there'd be no facial expression at all.
Let's find out.
Well, you were very animated. Frank Viola was very animated. That he harnessed it was one of the reasons that he succeeded. There's a strike, 1 and 2.
Well, with Frank Viola, I mean, he was doing, you know, he could have had a calculator out there because he was always wondering what his ERA was.
One and 2 to Kenny Vargas. And now we've got scoreboards. We'll do that for you.
Yes.
Jack is swinging. Close pitch, 2 and 2.
I think Kluber looking in, he kind of wanted that pitch. Wondering where was it? Yeah, Kluber 30 years old.
Yeah, that was a good pitch.
That's why he was wondering.
Dozier with a huge lead off third base. And swing and a miss. Kluber just rears back and throws a fastball by Vargas to strand 2 runners in the third. Fox Sports North is presented by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. By Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today. And by Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine for the everyday competitor in all of us. 5-0 Cleveland. Pat Dean will begin his first full inning of work. He relieved Jose Barrios in the third. Michael Martinez, Carlos Santana, Jose Ramirez will face him here in the Cleveland fourth. Martinez tried to drop down a bunt and popped it up for the second out of the second inning. The game was scoreless at the time. Indians had a threat, then there were two down, and then Barrios threw a knee-high fastball that Santana absolutely clobbered for a 3-run home run, and the Indians added two more in the third. A strike, 2-1. Indians from here go to Chicago for 4 games. Now 3-1.
And Martinez, a switch hitter. Came up with the Phillies in 2011, then the Pirates. Indians last year. This year started with Boston. Now back with the Indians.
Martinez drives one to right center field. He's aboard with a leadoff single. Indians have had their leadoff man on in all 4 innings. And that'll bring up Santana. Yoga night at Target Field presented by Mayo Clinic. It's Thursday, September 15th. Special ticket package includes an exclusive Twins branded yoga mat, a game ticket for the Mariners series, the 23rd to the 25th, and a donation to the Twins Community Fund. It's an evening in the outfield for an hour-long yoga class, and for more info and to purchase tickets, visit twinsbaseball.com/yoga. One and 0 to Carlos Santana. To left, Schaefer with the catch, one away. A well hit ball for the first out. That'll bring up Jose Ramirez. Ramirez reached in a fielder's choice in the first inning and then hit a fly ball to end the second. Ball 1. And punched through the right side of the infield. Martinez will check in at second. Ramirez with a base hit, first and second, one down.
Yeah, Ramirez picks up his first hit. Third hit that Pat Dean has allowed in relief of Barrios.
Lindor, the batter, single to start the third. Strike on the outside corner. Interesting news today out of the Bay Area this late in the season, but the Oakland A's today released Billy Butler. Still owe him over $11 million for next year. And Butler didn't have the best of years in Oakland. The 2 years he was there, hadn't been playing much, got into a little scuffle with Danny Valencia. And so a team could pick him up for the last couple weeks, pay a prorated portion of the major league minimum, and add him to fly to center. And Buxton goes over. We'll see if Martinez tries to advance here. And he will try. The throw coming to second base. Good play, smart play by Buxton. He was not going to throw out Martinez.
Yeah, no, Martinez has very good speed, so he was going to tag up. It was deep center field too.
Well, we'll see if a team wants to pick up Billy Butler. Rosters can be expanded. A veteran hitter, right-handed bat, but never had the power that maybe he should have. The one qualifying factor is he would not be eligible for postseason play, but he could be picked up as an option for a contending team for the final weeks of the season.
Well, what was it, a couple months ago? Coco Crisp here. Now Danny Valencia's time was cut short as far as playing, and basically, you know, management came out and said, a lot of the veterans, we're going to go with the young kids. We're going to see what we have for the future. So Oakland, you know, releasing Butler is really no surprise. Wasn't getting a lot of playing time there.
But, you know, it's a pill to swallow at $11 million and some change for next year.
Right.
Butler will get his money, and the A's will very likely, I think, pay him to play for somebody else. A strike called, 0-2.
All those years in Kansas City as a designated hitter, he put together some good years as far as average. Yeah, the power numbers were not what the Royals expected out of him, but he always can hit.
Which ultimately was the first thing I thought of. Would the Royals pick him up again? They could do that. Lorenzo Cain might not be able to help them at all.
Right.
Got a bad wrist, and sure looks like Cain thinks he's done for the year. Won't play this week, and the Royals are considering shutting him down. Not that Butler can play in the outfield like Cain can, but if you lose one right-handed bat, you can't be faulted for looking for another one.
And Kansas City, you know, they're still in that hunt for that wild card. 73 wins, but looks right now that wild card is either going to be the Detroit Tigers or Toronto Blue Jays or the Baltimore Orioles. It's going to be close.
1-2 to Napoli. Hard and foul, and nearly tipped over Martinez. I wonder if you're Billy Beane and you convince your ownership that we're going to give Billy Butler $30-some million for 3 years. You're the guy who made the call. You wanted to bring Billy Butler over, and then 2 years later you got to go back up to the office and say, hey, sorry, it didn't work out. I'm going to pay him $11 million to play for somebody else next year.
Well, it happens all the time, though. You know, there's a lot of guys out there that are let go.
That can't be an easy trip up the elevator, though, can it? You just spent $11 million of somebody's money.
If I was Billy Beane, I'd take the stairs.
1-2. And now 2-2. 33 pitches for Dean, 22 strikes.
Yeah, he used 12 of the 33 in Naquin's at bat last inning.
And ended up losing the battle on RBI single. And that's flipped foul, straight back. Focus now. Come on.
Well, we have birthday cake up here, and I'm going to ask Peg Imhoff why here in a second.
Well, we're almost done with the inning here. Just stay with me. Stay with me now. Focus.
Matt Hoy's birthday.
Inside 3-2. Our job is to talk about the baseball game now, just because someone brought some birthday cake.
And it's chocolate, too. With a little fudge. Whoa. Hurry up and get the out, Pat.
3-2.
Quit fooling around out there. Good pitch. There we go. All right. Dessert time.
into the bottom of the 4th inning.
Joe Casey, our camera executive there, celebrating a special day with his wife Carrie, their 34th wedding anniversary today. Joe Casey and Carrie, happy anniversary.
Max Kepler will lead off the bottom of the 4th. First pitch up and away, ball 1.
Tell you what, that birthday cake was outstanding. I know I'm huge on birthdays, mainly because
I know that because of the cake.
You get good cake.
On the outside corner, 1-1.
Well, getting strike 1 for Kluber here this afternoon has been tough. Only 3 out of 14 first pitch strikes. But he also has 5 strikeouts in a ball game.
Gets ahead of Kepler now, 1-2. On the ground, Martinez to Napoli, 1 down. And that'll bring up Escobar. Fox Sports Supports is proud to team up with the Mission Continues as we commemorate the 15th anniversary of the events of 9/11. All over the country, the Mission Continues is bringing together veterans and civilians through local service projects and honoring this day in history by giving back to our community. Visit foxsportsupports.com to learn more. Sadly, everyone remembers where they were 15 years ago today. The Twins were in Detroit. We were staying in a hotel in Dearborn, Michigan. And
now, did you go back on the team bus?
yes, yeah. Eventually, this was a Tuesday morning, I believe.
Right.
The attack was, and then Wednesday afternoon, mid-afternoon, the Twins lined up 3 buses, I believe, to transport everyone from Detroit. Of course, there was no air travel back to Minnesota. And about 24 hours later, we arrived in the Metrodome parking lot.
Well, as I mentioned, my wife Gail was going to fly out that day, going back to Fort Myers, Florida. After the sad news, we ended up able to get a car, and we drove to Florida.
2-2 to Escobar. As the miles ticked off, I kept thinking to myself, at least I'm going home. And when I got here, I had my family and friends here. I really felt for the players, because going to Minnesota at a time when everyone wanted to be with their family and hug their spouses and their children, so many of the players were no closer, in fact in some cases were farther away from home in Minnesota than they were in Detroit. As long as that trip was, when I got here, I was able to be embraced and embrace my family, and the players, most of them, couldn't do that. 2-2 to Escobar. Inside, post pitch, 3-2.
Kluber has had 1 walk in the ballgame. That was Vargas in the first inning. He's hit a batter, given up only 2 hits. Schaefer single in the first, and then Dozier's infield base hit last inning.
And Escobar gets time. And he missed. Escobar takes a 1-out walk. Kluber, he hasn't allowed a run, but we've seen him sharper than this. Right. He's walked 2 and hit a bat. And now James Beresford. Beresford called out on strikes, his first time up. Up and away, ball 1. Beresford 1 for 4 in his major league debut last night. A sharp ground ball up the middle.
I
With
got
his family watching.
Breaking ball. Hit right back up the middle.
And what was interesting, shortly after that, Beresford was at second base, and Brian Dozier was at first base, and a trip to the mound by Mickey Callaway. And Brian Dozier, who was a teammate of Beresford's for a couple of years in the Twins minor league system, went to second base and hugged Beresford, congratulating him for the payoff after 10 long years in the minor leagues, getting your first major league hit. Called strike 2-2, and Beresford doesn't care for it. And a swing and a miss. Beresford strikes out 2 down.
Yeah, breaking ball down and in.
Beresford playing at first base, giving Joe Mauer a break. Joe's still being bothered with the quadriceps strain. And Paul Molitor pointed out today that the starting pitchers for the Tigers in the first 2 games in Detroit are left-handed, and Joe may extend Joe's break 2-3 days to allow his quadricep muscle to calm down a little bit. Here is Centeno. That one slapped. Oh, what a nice backhanded pickup by Ramirez, but he throws wildly. The ball in play. Escobar to third. He'll be held. And the Twins down by 5 runs, can't make any outs on the bases, but they will be given an extra out here in the 4th inning.
That'll be an error charge to Ramirez after he made a great play. Ball hit sharply, a little one hop. Ramirez thought about second, went over to first, but then airmailed it over the leaping Napoli. So an error by Ramirez, his 7th of the year.
And now Buxton with yet another chance for the Twins to get a big hit against Corey Kluber. They had 2 men on in the first with 2 out. 2 men on in the third with 1 out. Now being given an extra out, Buxton has struck out his first time. Has a chance for redemption. And there's a base hit to left field. It'll score 1. And Buxton with a base hit to get the Twins on the board at 5-1, and that'll bring up Dozier.
Yeah, Buxton getting a base hit, his 29th RBI of the year, jumping on that first pitch. May have broke his bat.
Box strikes presented by Dodge.
Got the barrel of the bat out quickly. And hit softly in the left field. Monte does a good job of charging that ball. That keeps Centeno at third.
Longest homestand of the year for the Twins. The Twins so far have won just 4 of the 9 ball games. But the talk of the homestand has been Brian Dozier and his power surge. 39 home runs, 3 in a game, and a good spot for number 40 here. Swing and a miss. Dozier got an infield hit, just his 6th hit against Kluber in 39 at bats. 1 strike. Indians, as they have throughout this series, with runners at first and third, they've got an extreme pull shift on for Dozier on the infield. Strike 2 called. Got Napoli holding on Buxton. And shift, the type of shift we saw frequently in the first 2 months of the season. About 120 feet between Martinez and Napoli.
Kluber ahead in the count.
Kluber misses outside.
And that's where Perez was set up.
I say you wouldn't expect Kluber to come get Dozier with anything at the inner half of the plate with 2 men on, leading by 4 runs. The pitch very likely will be in the outer third of the plate, you think.
Perez is going to move once that ball goes toward home plate.
Oh
boy, that's not a strike.
Dozier drops his bat, picks his helmet off, drops it, and Ryan Blackney rings him up. The Twins get 1 but leave 2.
That was a bad call.
Lead. We start at the top of the 5th inning in the Minnesota Lottery Winners Circle. We have $100 worth of scratch-off lottery tickets for Miss Violet from Lindstrom, Minnesota. Vi is 95 years old, and Vi still lives on her own. Painted her house last summer, got in a little bit of trouble for doing that. Just begrudgingly gave up mowing the lawn. Do I have that all right, Vi?
Right. And also painting the house.
And what is your secret to staying so young and mobile at 95?
I think because I have a family that I love and want to be there for them.
And that's your motivation?
That's my motivation.
1 baby aspirin a day, you told me.
1 baby.
Yep.
1 baby aspirin a day. No other pains or aches or anything.
Well, good for you. What a blessing and what a joy you are to have a chat with today. Happy birthday to you, Vi.
Thank you. And I have so many beautiful friends at my church in Lindstrom, Trinity Church, and I love them all.
Let's say hi to them.
Hi, everybody at Trinity.
Hi from Miss Vi. Dick and Bert, how about this? 95 years old, just hanging out at a Twins game.
My happy birthday, young lady. And you are here by circle.
Lindstrom's such a beautiful little town out by Chisago City. And a lot of great lakes around there. I've done some fishing and some hunting in that area. Matt Dean hoping to hang up a few more zeros, see if the Twins can maybe climb back into this game here. Chisenhall chases and a strikeout to start the 5th inning.
Dean picking up his 2nd strikeout. Now, we just saw Brian Dozier take a pitch from Kluber, and of course he was not happy with it. Why?
Good heavens, no wonder.
I mean, look where that ball is, not even close. Brian can't believe it.
Well, Dozier protested a little bit. Paul Molitor came out to keep his 2nd baseman in the game. Swing and a miss by Almonte. You hope that umpires are conscientious enough, although this is a travel day for them too. If there's some dispute about a particular pitch, that they'd be conscientious enough, or maybe they get the report in their clubhouse. Here's Buxton rushing in, and the ball gets by him. And it'll be an error on Buxton with Almonte taking second base. The third Twins error today.
Yeah, base hit for Almonte, and then the error for Buxton, his 4th of the year. And for the Twins, they're 113th. Only the Milwaukee Brewers have had more errors than the Twins. See where that ball landed, about 4 feet, 5 feet in front of him, and a bad decision right there by Buxton.
Anyway, you hope the umpires would be conscientious enough to be interested as to whether they made a right call or not. Now, on a related note, when you pitched after your game, and let's say you threw 115 pitches and 9 innings, 8 innings, 7 innings, whatever it was. If somebody said to you right after the game, you know, that pitch you threw Eddie Murray in the 4th inning, what was that? Would you be able to recall
Probably,
that pitch?
Yes.
Immediately you would. I wonder whether umpires aren't the same way. In other words, if there's a text or something, I know we've got an umpire supervisor here today, and whether the umpire would get immediate feedback. You know, that pitch to Dozier that ended the 4th inning, that wasn't close to being a strike. Umpires hopefully would have enough recall to remember the pitch, right, and the situation.
Well, you're talking about 115 pitches. For me, I would probably remember, but remember the umpires, you can double that.
Right. 1-1 to Naquin. Now 2-1.
You know, it's a tough enough job. Umpires are like starting pitchers as far as a rotation. They're out there once every 4th day, where it used to be. But you know, they take a lot of pride in their work. It's not easy being an umpire. All the travel, everything that goes into it.
Swing and a miss. 2-2. We had hoped they'd take enough pride in it to want to get it right and be concerned about a potential game-changing situation like Dozier's at bat to review it. 2-2 to Naquin. And now 3-2. Nothing's come easy for Dean. He had to face 2 men to get the last out of the 3rd. He faced 5 men to get the 3 outs of the 4th. Now a strikeout, a base hit, an error, and a full count to Naquin, who had that long battle with him when he first entered the game.
One more thing about the umpires, they take a lot of pride in what they do. A lot of pride.
I've gotten to know many of them over the years. Some I dare say I'd call friends, people that I've been around, who've been around for a long time, like I have. 3-2. And ball 4. Naquin will take first base. The one thing I will say, though, I wish that they were graded as harshly as the players are. If you're not good enough to be up here, just because you're up here doesn't mean you can be grandfathered in for 15, 20 years. And if a player isn't good enough to survive up here and he can be replaced by a minor league player who the establishment feels would do a better job, that policy should be in place for umpires. Dean checks out. He faced 10 men with 1 out in the 5th. He'll exit. trailing by 4. A couple of men on with 1 out. And our CarSoup.com trivia question: which team has won the most American League Central Division titles? Cleveland had a nice run. Twins had a nice run.
They did.
Tigers have had a nice run. Royals have won 1, I believe, just the 2015 title. They went in as a wild card the year before that. Here's Pat Light.
Yeah, Pat Light coming in for the 12th time. 5th time on this homestand. Last couple not very good outings against the Kansas City Royals, so he's looking to improve that here. Too many walks for Pat Light. Fastball, split finger, and a changeup.
Few days off for Light, and maybe that will sharpen his control a little bit. 95 miles per hour, but very high.
Pat Light, 25 years old, coming over from the Boston Red Sox. Fernando Abad getting traded to Boston.
Fouled away again at 95. 95 is plenty, but Light was advertised to have upper 90 stuff, and for the most part, he's been around 92, 93.
He's worked with Neil Allen a little bit about his approach, about setting up, about changing little things in his delivery.
There's a splitter. Did he go? No, it's 2-1. Can't really call his splitter, I don't think, a secondary pitch. I think it's his primary pitch. Whether it should be that way is another matter, but that's his dominant pitch.
That's his dominant pitch, but everything again, he has to get that fastball over like that.
Got hit to left,
but there's no movement on that fastball.
And the runner will be held. A nice quick relay to the infield by Schaefer, and they're loaded up with 1 down.
There's another great example. You can have a good fastball, 95 plus, but if you're going to throw it right down the middle of the plate, major league hitters will hit you. And Perez, who's a 159 hitter coming into today's play, that ball's right down the heart of the plate.
Straight as an arrow and lined into left field. Bases loaded, 1 down, and here's Michael Martinez. A little bit different situation than his first plate appearance when he tried to bunt. This ball gets away, but just briefly, about 20 feet away from home plate. Centeno recovers. 1 strike.
Well, one thing we have seen from Pat Light, he can pick up some strikeouts. It's that splitter is almost like a knuckleball, so it's hard to catch. Centeno did a good job of knocking it down, and it didn't get too far from home plate, and that kept Almonte at third base.
1 strike to Martinez. Martinez single, got as far as third base in the 4th inning. Came up with runners at first and second, or second and third rather, and 1 out. And tried to get a run in with a bunt, maybe even reach himself. He popped it up for the 2nd out. And now a foul ball, and it's 1-2.
Well, 11 strikeouts in 10 2/3 innings for Pat Light. I'm sure he'll stay with that splitter.
Fastball. Beresford comes home. Force play there. Relay. Ooh, nice recovery by Beresford. Centeno's throw sailed over the head of the runner, and they got the important out at home plate on the force.
Yeah, Beresford playing about even with the bag. Comes in, makes a good throw to Centeno. Centeno's throw a little bit, you can see, offline. And Beresford has to leap to keep it in his glove.
Bases loaded, 2 down, and now Carlos Santana. Santana jumped on a knee-high fastball from Barrios to hit a 3-run home run in the 2nd inning. And now Centeno slides to his right, digs one out of the dirt. One to know. And now 2-0. We said it of Barrios. We'll say it of Light. Twins are looking for improvement, steps forward. I think the strong suspicion is there's going to be a major makeover of the pitching staff. There should be. They've had the worst ERA in the league all year long. And what the Twins are hoping for, that from within, guys like Light now, Chagua, Barrios, that they can inch forward towards being part of the solution next year.
I was going to throw Tyler Duffy's name in there too.
Yeah, but now, you know, it's 3-1 here, and central to Barrios and Light and Chagua and all of them being part of a better pitching staff next year is throwing strikes.
I always say, you know, everything keys off the fastball. You can work up here and win up here with 2 pitches, but right now that split finger is going all over the place. Now he's put himself into a fastball mode, and that 96-mile-an-hour fastball outside part of the plate. Now does he have confidence on a guy that's 3rd in the American League as far as walking to throw that split finger?
Full count to Santana. And the splitter was a good one, but Santana got a piece.
Yep. You know what? And that's, I'm glad he threw it too. I'm glad he threw it because it shows that he has as much confidence in that on 3-2 bases loaded as he does his fastball.
Tap to the right side.
He threw it again, got a ground ball out.
And leaves the bases full. The Indians don't score. Mountain Dew fans of the game. Young man's got the binoculars out, trying to bring the action closer. Hope he's holding them the right way. Here's Logan Schaefer to start the 5th. Twins still in this game. It doesn't feel like it, but they are. They've had chances. They got an extra out and a run because of it in the 4th inning. And they've had chances to get a big hit against Kluber, but of course he doesn't give up many of those.
Yeah, Twins only have 3 hits. Kluber has 7 strikeouts, a couple walks.
0-2 to Schaefer. He singled in the 1st, hit by a pitch in the 3rd.
You know, when you face a guy like Kluber, and he really hasn't been on as far as getting ahead, only 7 first pitch strikes of 20 batters. You want to take advantage of that, because now as the game moves deeper, he's going to get better because he's made some adjustments.
And at some point, since this is mid-September now, the shadows will come into play in the late innings. You can see the shadow line going right up the first baseline now. 1-2 to Schaefer. Polanco and Vargas will follow. And foul back.
Kind of a half swing right there on that high breaking ball. Schaefer getting called up on August 28th. His major league experience, other than here now with the Twins, with the Brewers. For 5 seasons, up and down, total of 292 ball games for the Brewers. Hit only .212.
The advantage he has over the incumbent 4th outfielder Robbie Grossman. Better defensive player. 2 hopper to 3rd, and Ramirez fires across, 1 down. That'll bring up Polanco. 2017 season tickets are on sale now. You can choose from the Twins full season, partial season, or the ever popular flex plan. All the season ticket packages include membership in Sweet Spot, the Twins season ticket benefits and rewards program. Go to twinsbaseball.com or call 612-375-7454 and learn more. Here is Polanco, liner to left and a fly to right. Another pop-up right side. Martinez retreats. Makes the catch, 2 down.
And another fastball inside to Polanco that kind of tied him up. So the book on Polanco for Kluber is, I'm going to keep busting them in, and he has done that in all 3 at-bats.
Here is Vargas. A walk and a strikeout. Inside, ball 1. And now ball 2. Hey, we've talked about the 15th anniversary of the 9/11 terrorist attacks. It's also, on a more pleasant note, the anniversary of Eric Milton's no-hitter today.
Right.
Back in 1999.
That's a shame we didn't televise that game. That was that 11 o'clock
Right.
game.
Yep.
We shared the stadium that day with the Gophers.
Against the Angels, were then managed by Terry Collins on an interim basis. 2-1. Rod Carew was the Angels hitting coach. He didn't do a very good job that morning. Swing and a miss, 2-2.
I got to be honest with you. You know, over my playing career with the Twins, they had that game. I love pitching in that ball game because the hitters didn't want to be there. It's
Right.
too early, you know, to play.
What I never quite understood is why they played morning games at Met Stadium, because the Gophers were going to play at Memorial Stadium. They didn't share a venue, but the Twins still played Saturday morning games at the old Met. Vargas strikes out. Kluber has a 1-2-3 5th inning. Fox Sports North is presented by Northland Ford. Visit northlandford.com and your local Northland Ford dealer today. And by Grand Casino. The best stories start here. What's yours? 5-1 Cleveland homestand finale. That light out there to start to the pitch to the Indians in the 6th inning. You know, I know it's been a disappointing season. Nobody knows it better than you and I. We've been here for most of the games this year, but I'm going to miss days like this. What a gorgeous day. And it is our privilege to be here to bring you a Major League Baseball game on a perfect September afternoon.
Oh, you know what? I want to also thank all the Twin fans for their support this year, bearing through this season that has not been what I think everybody expected.
Too many games like this one where the starting pitcher had troubles early. In this case, it was Jose Barrios. Just about everybody has had way too many starts like Barrios' start here today. And collectively, it's been a very disappointing season on the pitching side. 2-2 to Jose Ramirez. And that's a foul ball.
You know, baseball's a numbers game, and you look at the starters, their bullpen for the Twins, and they're ugly numbers. And why even mention it? You know, I mean, it's to the point of the Twins looking for their 54th win and not their 90th loss. That says it all.
Light doesn't need to hurry. Whoa, my! He threw a rocket to Beresford. One away. Well, it's
wow. I mean, you get this ball right here, you take a little crow hop, and you expect a nice little easy throw. And a good time to work on your two-seamer, I guess.
Beresford already blew out one glove, and that one challenged the stitching. Baseball is also a complex sport, and whenever I run into complex problems, I try to look at them simply. I guess in that sense I'm simple-minded, but all you need to do is look at the pitching. Twins last in the division, and they're last in the league in pitching. Cleveland's on top of the division, and they've got the best pitching staff in the league. You don't need to overanalyze it beyond that. Things will get better here in Minnesota when the pitching gets better.
Yeah, offensively they have scored the runs they have needed to, I believe, to stay up in the top division.
They last time I checked, and we'll check again, but they were 7th. They were earlier in this homestand 5th in the league in runs scored, and right now they're 7th. So that's not the problem. There are some improvements that will be made with younger players getting more experience.
I think too, Dick, they have to tighten up their defense. Way too many errors. 113 errors on the year. You know, pitching and defense is how you win pennants, and you get the postseason.
Swing and a miss, 3-2.
Good fastball right there by Light.
Mid-90s. And crack foul, splitter on the outer edge of the plate.
Playing 5 years in Cleveland and seeing what they have been able to do this year, I'm kind of rooting for them to get the postseason. It's been a long time since they've won a World Series. You have to go back to 1948.
I tend to root when the Twins aren't involved for teams and fan bases that I admire. It was very easy to cheer for the Kansas City Royals the last 2 years. Twins are out, Royals are in, and you know, they were my team. I was really glad they won the World Series last year. I'm going to have a hard time with late flipping it underhanded this time. Beresford appreciates that. I'm going to have a hard time cheering for Cleveland just based on the fans that have not shown up to watch them play this year.
Well, hopefully that will improve, but you know, with the Cavaliers winning it all, the excitement is there. Why wouldn't the excitement be for Cleveland? A beautiful ballpark.
We were there, you know, a couple of weeks ago in the middle of the week, granted, but they were drawing 11,000 a night.
Right.
And they had the second best record in the American League at the time. That's not good. 1-0 to Napoli. Light has faced 5 men and retired 4 of them. Now a pop-up near the mound.
Somebody call it Escobar.
And he can't make the catch. Light did what he was told to do, get out of the way, I've got it, and then Escobar didn't get it. It'll be the 4th error of the ball game.
Well, you can see by the shadows it was Escobar that probably had the worst angle to try to catch that ball. Beresford probably had the best angle.
Paul Molitor to the mound here. He's going to make a pitching
Well, you
change.
see where that sun is right there. Escobar shading his eyes. He comes running in. And just loses a ball.
You could hear Light being called off, presumably by Escobar. And Paul Molitor with a stalking walk to the mound. I can guarantee you this has been an embarrassing day for him because the Twins have committed 4 errors. And now another relief pitcher comes into the game. Front as they have throughout the ball game, threatening to add to the lead here. Twins bullpen has been overworked all year long and in this series, but on our Coors Light cold hard facts, they've been very, very good.
Yeah, they really have. No earned runs allowed, 9 hits in 12 innings. And here today, Pat Dean an inning and 2/3, no runs allowed. Pat Light an inning and a 1/3.
Ryan O'Rourke will pitch to the pinch hitter.
Now, O'Rourke making his 19th relief appearance. He's done a good job out of that bullpen as of late. Got 2 outs in last night's ball game.
Brandon Geyer hitting. The Indians added 2 more players today. Like they didn't have enough.
What'd you say? It's total of 36 now?
36 players on their 40-man roster are here.
How'd you like to be the 4 guys that aren't here?
At some point, probably in about a week, they're going to add Yan Gomes to the 40-man roster and then add him to the playing squad. So there'll be 37 players of the 40-man roster on the 40-man roster who will be with the major league club. Now, contending teams can do that, but enough is too much, if I can change the phrase. I mean, my goodness, 36, 37 players.
I think baseball has to really look at that, and all these call-ups in September, there should be a max that you can call up. 25-man roster, of course, and maybe I'm going to say 5 more. That's it.
Yeah, I agree with
Total
that. 30 is a good number.
Right.
The ball hit to center. Buxton makes the catch to end the inning. A scoreless 6, and it's still just a 5-1 ball game. Sports North is presented by CenturyLink. Switch to CenturyLink Prism TV for an advanced TV experience. Learn more at cprismtv.com. Gorgeous day at Target Field. Final game of a 10-game homestand.
Looks really good.
And the Twins have won 4 and lost 5 so far. Brandon Guyer stays in the game. He's in left field. Monte shifts over to right. Went into the game figuring that the Twins weren't going to get a dozen hits against Corey Kluber. They have just 3 of them. But beyond that, they haven't pitched well. They haven't played well in the field, but it's just a 5-1 ball game. And Kepler swings and fouls it off a leg. So we'll see what Kepler can get done here. The Twins had a chance to score in the first, didn't again in the third, got one in the fourth thanks to a Cleveland error.
Well, the sad part is this game is what, 2 hours and 20 minutes, and I guarantee you that almost hour and 45 minutes the Twins have been out on the field.
On the outside corner.
Kluber's picked up 8 strikeouts so far. He's allowed only 3 hits, 3 singles. 85 pitches, 54 strikes. Watch out. Did he catch that?
Breaking ball down and in. Kepler wickedly hooked it over the Twins dugout.
There's a gentleman right at the corner there with a glove. Oh, it ricocheted away. Hit the railing, thank goodness.
1-2 to Kepler. And in the dirt. Kluber, the rock of the Cleveland rotation. Carrasco's been good. Salazar has been good and not so good. Same for Carrasco, I guess.
Trevor Bauer has really been.
He's stepped up.
Yes, he has.
But in the first half, Salazar and Tomlin were outstanding. In the second half, they've not pitched very well, both out of the rotation. Currently, Salazar is going to skip a start. So they really needed this guy to be the rock that he is. 2-2. Just up and away. 3-2. That the Indians are enjoying the comfortable lead of 6 games in the Central. Has an awful lot to do with Corey Kluber because he has been very, very consistent and very good. 3-2 to the leadoff man. Kepler lifts it high to left center field. And Naquin races over to put it away. 1 down. Kepler 0 for 3.
I think the left fielder Guyer did not even see that ball. It was Naquin that had to come running over to catch it.
1 down, and now Escobar.
You know, Kluber in the month of June, it's kind of when it started. I mean, he had a good month of May, but May, June, July, outstanding. 2.19 ERA in May, 2.51 ERA in June, and July 2.43.
This one hit well to left field. Retreating is Guyer, and he makes the catch.
You saw that one.
He turned one way, then the other, but he got there. 2 down. Toyota key stat. The Tigers with most home runs per game with lower than 400 winning percentage. I'm not sure the Twins will be proud of the latter, but certainly the home runs per game 1.25, and as we mentioned, on a pace to hit just over 200 home runs for just the 3rd time in Twins history. And that's a fair ball off the bat as Beresford, and he will round first, dig for second, and he's got his first major league extra base hit. Couple of strikeouts and kind of sounded wet when he made contact. I think he broke his bat, but he got a double.
Yeah, just a pitch away and took it down that left field line past the diving Ramirez at third base. Well, Beresford picks up his 2nd major league hit. Good sinker down and away. Credit Beresford going down and just hitting it the other way. Pitched away, hit away. First extra base hit of the 4 hits the Twins have been able to get. Yeah, the Twins have homered in 11 straight games and a total of 25 home runs over the last 11.
Centeno, the batter. I asked Paul Molitor the other day whether he's noticed that the ball is carrying better here, and he says, well, this year it is. He has no idea why, and he has no confidence that it's something that will continue next year. It's just a year where, as in the Twins lineup, and some of them should hit home runs and will hit more as their careers develop. Centeno swings and misses 1-1. But he just mentioned the weather generally conducive to the ball carrying.
But I think overall the pitching is not as consistent, say 1 through 4 in a rotation.
I mean elsewhere, the team
right,
that the
just
Twins are
all
playing.
in all.
Yeah.
But home runs are up everywhere.
Right. It just seems like there are balls that are hit now that go out that didn't. Remember, was it the first year here? Denard Span hit one towards right field, and he raised up one finger. He thought he'd hit a walk-off grand slam, and the ball was caught on the warning track.
Well, I remember Justin Morneau, Joe Mauer, I think, were asking the Twins to bring some of the fences in because it was a pitcher's ballpark when this place first opened.
I think you'd agree. I think this is a fair ballpark.
Yes, it is.
Now, it can rob you of some home runs in right center with the high wall out there. There's no question about that. 3-1 to Centeno. Buxton on deck, and swing and a miss. 3-2.
But if you hit the ball, you know, most ballparks, if you hit the ball down the lines, the ball's going to jump.
We've seen an awful lot of home runs hit into the bullpen in left center this year.
Right.
And Dozier's dropped a lot of them in there, and a lot of balls hit into the seating section above the bullpen. Full count to Centeno. Ouch. That hurt me.
And he's going to stay down a while and walk it off.
Paul Molitor wondering whether to come out. Now he and Dave Prumer will come out to check on Centeno's right leg.
Pointing right the shin area. There's the foul ball.
Calf looked like, huh? Hey, did you ever foul one off before the DH when you like off your foot or your ankle and have Doc Lentz come out and spray you with that stuff?
No. First you have to make contact, Nick.
So it never happened. You never fouled the ball.
You know, one of the funniest things was I was up at the plate when I was with the Pittsburgh Pirates, and it was a muddy day, and I went to hit kind of when I was up at home plate, trying to clean off my spikes.
Right.
I hit that big bone right there with my bat. Oh, that hurt. And everybody on the bench, you know, one pitch later, I'm walking back toward the bench, hobbling. But I hit that big bone when I was trying to hit my spikes.
Yeah.
I couldn't even hit my spikes. That's how bad a hitter I was.
You still see Dave Winfield doing that to both spikes, you know, stepping out of the box and whacking his spikes with his bat.
I tried that. I tried to be Dave Winfield, and it hurt.
Full count to Centeno. Buxton on deck. That's hit to left. And Geyer coming in. He had to fight the sun, but he made the catch. And the inning ends. Cleveland still up. On this Patriot Day, USAA honors those who have served and all of our service members at home and abroad. story of the game.
Well, Carlos Santana giving the Indians an early 3-0 lead. Thanks to his 3-run home run, his 31st of the year, a career high. And Jose Barrios just did not have it. 4 walks, 65 pitches, only 30 over the plate. Corey Kluber, you knew it was going to be tough on the mound against the Twins. He's tough on anybody, looking for his 16th win of the year. And there's 8 strikeouts with a little help from the home plate umpire right there against Brian Dozier. But Kluber, 6 innings, the run that the Twins were able to get in the 4th inning, an unearned run.
Twins winding down the 2016 season, looking forward to 2017 and wondering where Trevor May will fit in. This is his first appearance since coming off the disabled list. He's had a history of back problems this year, and it's not been a lost season for Trevor, but it's been an interrupted season.
He was activated a couple days ago. His first appearance since August 6th, when the Twins were in Tampa and St. Petersburg against the Rays.
Almonte, Naquin, and Perez will face him here in the 7th inning. Shows bunt, takes ball 2.
For Trevor May, his 44th relief appearance, total of 42 1/3 innings, 16 walks, 1 intentional, 59 strikeouts in the 42 1/3 innings.
The backstop. There was the injury, then the re-injury, and there is some sentiment in the organization that May might be physically better off being reconverted into a starting pitcher, where the demands of pitching would be required of him and his back once every 5 days rather than every other day. And a 4-pitch walk, Almonte will go to first.
Well, not the way that you want to come back off the disabled list.
May's had bullpens and physically hopes to be okay. And Polanco to the mound. 4-pitch walk puts Almonte at first base. And Naquin will bat. Strike. Naquin with 2 walks and an RBI single. A run scored.
He had that good at bat against Pat Dean, the first batter that Pat Dean faced in the 3rd inning. A 12-pitch at bat that Naquin got that RBI single up the middle.
There goes the runner, swung on and missed. Centeno's throw. Polanco had to lift his glove to field the hop, and couldn't get the tag down in time. It's a stolen base for Almonte.
Yeah, got a pretty good jump right there. Centeno does have a good throwing arm. A little short hop right there by Polanco. You see the ball in the dirt. The ball kind of came up on Polanco where he had to get it, and then by the time he did tag Almonte, he steals his 5th base of the year. 112th stolen base for the Indians.
Two strikes to Naquin. Breaking ball off the plate. Changeup, I believe. Struck out.
That was a curveball right there. Yeah.
Naquin struck out, 1 down.
Yeah, May has always had a very good curveball, a very tight curveball. Take a look at this pitch right here.
In the dirt. Caught by Centeno, 1 down, and now Roberto Perez. The Tigers already lost. The Orioles beat them 3-1. Justin Verlander taking the loss. Chris Tillman the win. So if the Indians hang on and win this game, it'll be a 7-game lead for the Indians over the Tigers, with 20 games to play.
And if you Detroit Tigers, you're still saying, hey, you know, we have 76 wins. We're right there with Toronto and Baltimore and even Houston and Kansas City just behind them. But I love it. I've mentioned it before, Dick. I like that baseball added that extra wild card. It makes it a little more exciting.
One and one. Fouled back.
Cleveland coming in with 82 wins in today's ball game. Detroit losing their 66, falls 6.5 games behind.
Last year's world champions, the Royals, 5 games over 500. The very fringes of the wild card race. A lot of games and a lot of teams to pass. Royals trying to defeat Chris Sale today. They're leading 2-0 in the 8th inning. Tap foul. You know, the wild card game was spawned, of course, with the Twins' 2 game 163s that they played in back-to-back years, losing to the White Sox and then winning against the Tigers. But the Pirates, for 3 years in a row, played in that wild card game in the National League, and a really good team, obviously, lost that game 3 years in a row. And now might be, I mean, the window may be closing in Pittsburgh. They come into the season now 69-71. They might very well have a losing season. Andrew McCutcheon's had a disappointing year. They've traded Francisco Liriano, who 2 years ago was one of their aces.
Right. But he has struggled really this year. Liriano now with the Toronto Blue Jays.
2-2 to Roberto Perez. Fastball low. May opened the inning with a walk, allowed a stolen base, struck out Naquin, and now has a full count with Perez. 14 pitches for May and only 6 strikes. To left center.
That's trouble.
And deep. Buxton chasing and almost making a tremendous catch. The ball on the warning track, and Perez will dig for third, and the throw not in time. Byron Buxton laid out on the warning track and nearly made a great catch.
I tell you what, if he can't catch that ball, nobody can. It looked like trouble right off the get-go, but Byron Buxton, he kind of kicked it in another gear. You see where he's shading him a little bit toward right center, and Buxton right there diving for it, can't come up with it. Great effort right there. You can see just a glove away from making a fantastic catch.
It's a run for the Indians. They lead 6-1. The infield in now for Michael Martinez.
And Perez getting his second hit on his first triple of the year. Driving in 12th run.
So May pays for the leadoff walk. Now trying to keep the damage to a minimum here. And a base hit will make it a 2-run inning. Martinez just slapping a hard ground ball through the drawn-in infield. Still only 1 out.
Well, Martinez picking up his second hit. His first RBI, his 4th of the year.
Which team has won the most American League Central Division titles? I'll go with the Twins.
I'll go Cleveland.
7 to the Twins 6. Paul Molitor to the mound, and he'll get the ball from Trevor May, who has a disappointing return to the active roster. He faces 4 men, retires just 1. See the Central Division titles won, and the Royals the most recent winner. Trevor May, a good breaking ball, striking out Tyler Naquin, but a leadoff walk, a triple, and a double through the drawn-in infield, and a couple more runs on the board for the Indians.
Not a good outing for Trevor May, and Michael Tonkin, his last outing, bothered a little bit by some tenderness in that elbow area. Was back on August 26th in Toronto, where he had a poor outing, making his 57th relief appearance. Tonkin tried to fight through that elbow issue. Really started in the middle of August. His last 3 appearances out of the bullpen, totaling 3 innings, allowed 9 runs.
Carlos Santana will greet him here with 1 out and a runner at first. The Indians getting a couple of insurance runs at the 7th. And a strike call. Tonkin's been with the team all year long, out of options. He's had his moments, some good performances, some not so good performances. The Twins want to reestablish his health before the end of the season. There's a ball smoked up the middle, a base hit. 3rd hit in a row for the Indians. Let's see where he fits in with the new president of baseball operations, whatever the title will be, the new general manager. I think there are going to be a lot of people who have pitched for the Twins this year who are going to be fighting for a position to be helpful to the ball club next year. I don't know that it's going to matter whether someone's out of options or not. I think someone is going to come in here and try to reassemble this pitching staff and make it more credible for next year.
You know, with the 7 runs the Indians have put on the board so far, they now have 700 runs scored. And so they're the 2nd American League team to score of 700 runs or more. Boston Red Sox have scored 779 runs.
That's a lot of runs.
That's a lot of runs. We got quite an offense in Boston.
Most of the bat ended up in front of the Twins dugout, a basket catch, and it'll be a double play. Kepler charging in. Martinez took off towards 3rd, and on that play, the 7th inning ends. 2 more runs for the Indians. They lead it 7-1. 15 years ago, our nation was attacked. We've commemorated the attacks on 9/11 every year since. And today, in a show of patriotism on this Sunday afternoon, we'll bring you God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, my home sweet home.
greater coverage of baseball. David Ortiz with number 32. A lot of runs scored at the Rogers Center this weekend, and Ortiz having a good day. Yoenis Cespedes with his 30th home run of the year. The Twins will have to try to figure out how to get him out next weekend. And Chris Sale with a dozen strikeouts, but he came out of the ball game trailing 2-0.
How about David Ortiz? My goodness, farewell season. Came into today's play hitting .316, 6th best in the American League.
Buxton will lead off the 7th against Corey Kluber. Up and in.
You know what? And here we are, you know, going into the 7th inning. Now, Kluber, that was his 100th pitch thrown right there. But that's what aces do. You know, you could have said, you know, hey, I've got a 6-run lead, you know, Terry Francona, maybe, you know, Mickey Callaway. But this is what guys that are aces of a ball club, they go that extra mile, they go that extra inning if need be to take the wear and tear out of the guys in the bullpen.
I think I'm preaching to the choir here, but to me, the biggest complaint I have about the 100 pitch count, which is the standard, is every pitcher's different. Buxton with a big swing and a miss. You know, some guys should be able to handle 120, and for others 85 might be enough. You got a guy who's big and strong. He's got an incredible workout regimen. He keeps himself very strong head to toe. Buxton strikes out. He's thrown 94 here in the 7th inning, and he doesn't look like he's even beginning to tire.
Well, you know, Dick, a lot of it too is the mechanics. How much wear and tear do you put on that arm? I mean, he's got a very fluid mechanic. 9 strikeouts in the ball game. He's given up only 4 hits, 3 singles, and an extra base hit, a double. But you know what? It's effortlessly as far as, you know, his delivery. It's pretty consistent.
Dozier just has not had comfortable swings against Kluber again here today. Got an infield hit on a number up the 3rd baseline. Was called out on a pitch 8 inches away from the strike zone.
And I think this is a 4th at bat. Every at bat he has started them off with a breaking ball. They go in, they're going to go fastball in, and that got a piece of Dozier. And that's where Perez was setting up. That 2-seamer just ran in on Bryant. It's a 2nd hit batsman of the game for Kluber. The other one was Schaefer that hit in the shin area.
The tricep, left arm. And the ball bounced back towards the mound. That was a direct hit. That's going to hurt for a while. There is Schaefer.
I'm not saying that Kluber did that on purpose, but even though Brian is hurting a little bit, that's what pitchers need to do more of. Not hit anybody, but pitch inside like Kluber tried right there. And if you miss inside, you're going to hit some batters.
One strike to Schaefer. One thing that we've seen an awful lot of this year, despite the urgings of Neil Allen. Opposing hitters swinging so aggressive, as if the thought of a pitch like the one Dozier just experienced would never even cross their minds. No fear factor.
Good terminology. No fear factor.
2 strikes to Schaefer. That pitch that has turned Kluber into a remarkable pitcher. It's unlike any other slider because I guess it breaks so late.
Right. Looks like a fastball in, and that's why he has to work in, especially the left-handers. Strikeout number 10 for Kluber. You see the break.
Almost looks like it sailed.
Disappeared.
Fox Tracks presented by Carrier. And now Polanco. Polanco 0 for 3. And then a fastball right down the middle.
third time he's had 10 strikeouts or more in a ball game. His last start, yeah, against the Twins, he struck out 11 back on August 31st, and the other one coming in Detroit, he had 10.
Swing and a foul. 0-2.
Kluber came into the ball game 4th in the American League in strikeouts. Chris Archer with 217 coming into today's play. Verlander with 209. David Price 201. Kluber came in with 198. So he has 208 strikeouts now with 10.
Archer with 17 losses on the year.
Yeah.
He may lose 20 this year. Lead the league in strikeouts. 1-2.
Before the year he won the Cy Young a couple years ago, he had 269 strikeouts in 235 2/3 innings.
That's in the dirt, and Dozier will go to second base on a wild pitch.
Wild pitch, a 5th wild pitch of the year for Kluber. Don't quite know what that pitch was. Landed in front of the plate. Another look at this pitch here. It looked like a slider, but
that's unlike
on the feet
from the center field camera. It looks unlike any other slider in the game.
Well, to me, that's more of a Steve Carlton type slider.
Popped up in the air behind second base. Lindor with the catch. Dozier left the board, and we head to the 8th inning.
America's Studio Sports Update. It is time to commemorate a special date in Twins history. September 11th, 1974. Harmon Killebrew hit his final home run for the Senators of Twins franchise, a 2-run walk-off home run against Oakland's Darryl Knowles, the 559th career home run for Harmon Killebrew.
And of course, Harmon finished his Hall of Fame career with the Kansas City Royals in 1975. Thank you, Jeff. 7-1 Cleveland in front, and we go to the 8th inning, and Tommy Milone will pitch for the Twins. He too coming off the disabled list.
Yeah, Tommy Milone put on a disabled list back on August 12th with a sore left shoulder. Activated and when Trevor May was a couple days ago, making his 16th appearance. 12 starts for Milone.
And ball one. when we've discussed this with Roy Smalley, he said the current conditions shadow-wise are the toughest. The pitcher and the release point and the ball coming toward the hitter didn't seem to bother Lindor. A bullet to Escobar, one away. But the ball is in the shadows and most of the batter's eye is in the bright sunlight, and it's very tough to pick up the spin of the baseball. One down.
I feel sorry for the hitters.
Well, now
I'll be honest. Yeah, I feel sorry for the hitters.
I don't believe that.
I know, and you shouldn't.
One down, and now Mike Napoli. And a strike. Yankees cooled off today. Tampa Bay beat them 4-2. Yankees had won 7 in a row. Going to be at least one really good and interesting team in the American League East that's not going to be in the playoffs, and it could be the Red Sox. Boston beat Toronto 11-8, so that helps Boston a little bit. They now lead the Blue Jays by 2 games. Baltimore's right there. They're 2 games back. Yankees now 4 games back. 1-2. 2-2.
Boston has put together a great offensive team. They're hitting .285 as a ball club. Yeah, .286, excuse me. And they scored 11 runs today.
Malone strikes out Napoli, 2 down.
Good changeup down and away by Malone.
Join Fox Sports North and the Minnesota Wild for the breakaway 10K, 5K, and 1 mile run Saturday, September 24th, benefiting the Herb Brooks Foundation. All participants receive a t-shirt and are qualified to win 2 sweet tickets for the Wild Jets game on Sunday, October 8th. For more information, visit foxsportsnorth.com and click on upcoming events on the Hot Topics bar. Brandon Geyer, the batter, entered the game as a pinch hitter in the 6th and lined out to Buxton. Check swing, half swing roar. Escobar fires across, and Tommy Malone has a good 8th inning as the Indians go down 1-2-3.
As we start the bottom of the 8th inning here at Target Field and wrapping up this 3-game series, we'll also wrap up this game right after the final out with Twins Live presented by CenturyLink. And today we look at Corey Kluber and how well he silenced the Twins bats. 7 innings pitched today by Kluber, just 4 Twins hits in those 7 innings. And unfortunately, the same amount of errors on defense this afternoon, 4 for the Twins. So we'll look at the tough plays defensively for Minnesota and hear from manager Paul Molitor when we wrap things up with the final out. Stick and Bert.
All right, thank you, Marty. Twins will hit in the 8th inning. And Cody Anderson will pitch to them.
Yeah, Cody Anderson up and down. He could have bought a place in Cleveland and also in Columbus, because 7 different stints between Columbus and Cleveland for Cody Anderson this year. Remember, Anderson last year came up, made quite an impression. Jesus Aguilar.
They called him up today too. He's at first base now.
Okay. Where do they find these players?
Columbus. Fouled back. Archie Griffin is in right field. Just kidding.
You did make me look.
1 and 2. And now 2 and 2. Vargas a walk and a couple of strikeouts.
Anderson with a fastball, low 90s curveball. Made 15 starts last year. Very good changeup. 7 and 3 for the Indians. There's a good changeup right there. That strikes out Vargas. Vargas striking out for the 3rd time in a ball game.
Kepler's put the ball in play 3 times, but he's 0 for 3. A grounder to first, grounder to second, and fly to center.
Arm speed makes a good changeup right here. Watch it. Vargas swing through it. Looks like a fastball, about 10 miles an hour difference.
Down and in, ball 1. And a sharp grounder off the sidewall, then off the ball boy's glove or shin. Left center. Geyer shielding his eyes, makes the catch 2 away. Bring up Eduardo Escobar. The Twins will wrap up the season series with Cleveland here shortly, and then the Indians will become their biggest fans. The Indians want to win the division, and the Twins have 7 of the remaining games against the Detroit Tigers, Cleveland's closest pursuer. With 82 wins, maybe 83 here shortly, and they'd like to get home field advantage in the first round of the playoffs. Just to get out of that wild card game. They were in it, of course, a few years ago. But that's such a harsh existence. You've got to win a game. You have to win that game or your season's over with. It's much like, you know, the game 163 scenario that the Twins found themselves in, because that's what it is. And then once you win that game, well, then you're treated as equally as any other playoff team.
And I think that's where baseball saw what the excitement of was. Game 163, and they put the wild card in there. Now they've added another.
Escobar takes a call third strike.
Another changeup.
3 up, 3 down. The Twins go quickly in the 8th. It's been a good day for the Cleveland Indians and a rotten day for the Minnesota Twins. They haven't done anything well enough to win a ball game today. Consequently, they're down 7-1. And Andrew Albers will pitch to the Indians in the ninth.
Yeah, Albers making his third relief appearance, his fifth appearance overall. He actually he pitched against the White Sox a week ago here at Target Field, 4 2/3 innings. Ended up getting a no decision in that 13-11 loss in 12 innings to the White Sox.
And an infield hit for Almonte. It's the first pitch softly about 60 feet up the third baseline. And Almonte has his third hit of the afternoon. And now Tyler Naquin will get another at bat against a lefty. Naquin's had a good day at the plate. A single, 2 walks, and a strikeout. Ball 1. And a base hit through the hole on the left side. So Naquin trying to get more playing time against lefties, and to that end, this has been a really good game for him.
It really has. A couple of hits. Got a base hit that drove in a run in the third inning off of Pat Dean. And right there with Albert just taking it the other way. Picks up his second hit. Been on base 4 of the 5 plate appearances.
Perez, a double and a home run short of the cycle. Oh, ball 1.
Triple's always the hardest to get.
He got one. Buxton nearly made his best catch of the year, but Perez ended up with a triple and a run scored in the 7th. There's a strike, and it's 1-1. Back to Albers, low throw, and a good play by Brian Dozier to turn it into a double play.
Yeah, that was a good play right there. As a pitcher, your PFP, pitcher's fielding practice, every day of spring training. You get that ball back, you do a little crow hop, and you throw the ball to the chest of that middle infielder, whoever is covering. And right here, ball hit right back at Albers. Taylor-made double play. And then you throw the low about shin high, and Dozier did a good job of catching that ball and flipping it over to first. Second double play for the Twins in today's ball game.
Michael Martinez batting, taking ball 1, and now taking strike 1. Kansas City beat the White Sox 2-0. Royals keeping their flickering playoff hopes alive. Down the middle, a strike. Indians go to Chicago for 4 games. Twins go to Detroit for 4 games. Martinez strikes out, and Centeno completes the strikeout. A scoreless 9th inning for Albers. For Corey Kluber, 7-1. They've got the lead. CenturyLink, what is next? And it's a 4-game series with the Tigers, and the Twins will face left-handers Norris and Boyd. Anibal Sanchez has struggled, and the Tigers just announced that Jordan Zimmerman will not make the start on Thursday. Instead, he's going to have a bullpen session on Wednesday, and my guess is it'll be former Twin Mike Pelfrey who might slide into the rotation for the final game of the 4-game series Thursday afternoon. The other option, I'm guessing, would be Buck Farmer. We're not televising Thursday's game. We are televising Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday's game. So we have, you and I, a free day Thursday in Detroit.
I'll be watching the game.
Bouncer to the right side, Beresford.
I'll be seeing who's starting for the Tigers.
One down here in the 9th inning.
Cody Anderson out there for the 9th inning, as he did in the 8th, the 1-2-3 inning with a couple strikeouts.
Here is Centeno with Buxton to follow. One and 0. And now a strike.
I think you mentioned it earlier, Dick. I think the Twins fans have seen too many games like this year. Starting pitcher Berrios today couldn't get through 3 innings. Defensively, 4 errors made by the ball club. Not a good day.
2-1
after a very, very good ball game last night.
Well, even the night before, the Twins had costly errors. A ball hit to left field, and Geyer, really staggering under the sun, makes the catch. 2 down. You know, Twins lost a 1-run ball game Friday. They won a 1-run ball game last night, and then you're right. There have just been too many games like this where the starting pitching hasn't given the Twins a chance.
Yeah, left field is a bear. You can see him shading his sunglasses, his eyes helping, and the glove comes down with a catch.
Here's Buxton, a single and 2 strikeouts, and the Twins are down to their last out. Maybe the biggest takeaway for this homestand, which apparently is going to finish 4-6, beyond Dozier's home run binge, the not renewal, but the surge in Byron Buxton's stock with a really good homestand.
He picked up an RBI in the 4th inning. The only run the Twins have been able to put on it against Kluber. Now was an unearned run, but still an RBI for Buxton.
1 and 2. Up the middle, and Buxton has his second base hit. Again, doesn't sound like much, but just the fact that he was able to put the ball in play with 2 strikes and on the ground. He's a guy who, you can imagine him hitting close to 300 if he can just hit more ground balls than pop-ups.
Yeah, you don't quit playing the game until that fat lady sings. So Buxton right there got a pitch out over the plate on a fastball. He hit it right up the middle.
And now Dozier will be pinch hit for by Robbie Grossman. Dozier gone 1 for 3. We hope this is just a matter of Grossman getting in at bat and that there's nothing wrong with Dozier's tricep. He got smoked by a Kluber pitch in the 7th inning. And out of the left field corner, and Geyer will chase this one, fighting the sun all the way. Oh, what a nice play. Brandon Geyer with a long run battling the sun, and the Indians take this series 2-1.
Well, again, lack of good starting pitching here, but the Indians may be on their way to postseason. They won 10 of 19 ball games for the Twins this year.
Tom Hanneman, I think we all knew that if the Twins were going to beat Corey Kluber and the Indians today, they needed to get a good start from their starting pitcher, and they did not get that from Jose Berríos.
No question about it, Dick. The Twins suffering their 90th loss of the season, 28th series loss of the year. Last year they dropped 24 series. Up next on Twins Live, presented by CenturyLink, Corey Kluber's story. A terrific job on the mound. Tough day for the Twins defense. We'll hear from Paul Molitor and talk about the road trip ahead.